Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone, and happy Sunday, October 8th, I do believe the day is. My name is Nikki Adamkowitz, and this is the Sass for Sunday morning. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. It's chilly here in the Northeast. We have finally hit where 46 degrees in October is chilly versus 46 degrees in March, where we feel like it's a heat wave. So good morning, good morning. Behind the helm today, we have Miss Jody Stock. She's going to be answering all of your questions and your comments. She'll be putting up the links and whatnot. So say good morning to Miss Jody behind the helm today. So when you see Sassy Subber posting in there, that is my girls in the background. And so that's what Jody's going to be answering. She will not be on camera with us this morning, but she will definitely be in the comment section under the Sassy Subber name. So good morning for that. Make sure you guys say good morning, because that's what we do around here. We say good morning to everybody. Today we're going to be working on the Sublidecal, and then I'm going to also be pressing the 2 pumpkins from our REM distributors. Now, why am I pressing Sublidecal? Nikki, you got to roll in. Why would you need to do that? Well, when I did my live last Wednesday, I talked about Sublidecal, and I was floored at the amount of people who didn't know what Sublidecal was and that you could use it. Now, there are different applications you can use it for, but what is exactly Sublidecal? Basically, it's a sublimation sticker. Is it a little bit more on the pricier end? Yes, but in a pinch, could you use it? Absolutely. It does come in a wide variety of sizes. I still do believe that. I will let Jody put in the comments of whether or not that's still true, but I definitely know it comes in the 8.5 by 11, and I believe it did come at one point at 11 by 17. I don't use it anymore, but you can use it on just about everything. You could put it on drinkware. Yes, you can put it on drinkware. Hand wash only, though. It is highly recommended that you do it as a hand wash only. Now, if you wanted to use it as like a car decal, you absolutely can. Just keep in mind that this is considered a permanent sticker. And so if you use it on your car, you want to give that disclaimer to your people, but also know it is not UV stable, because sublimation ink isn't. I know that we kind of get lost in that because we have license plates and license plate frames, but you'll see things that say, oh, it's UV coated. That's fantastic. The product may be UV safe, but the inks are not. So keep that in mind when you are finding things that say sublimation UV safe. Well, yes and no in that. So the product is, but the sublimation part of it is not, because we do not have UV stable inks. So there you go. The more you know. So when you're doing license plates or license plate frames, or in this case, a Sublidecal sticker, make sure you just let your people know that if it's an intense heat, well, I shouldn't say heat, but if it's an intense sun, it's going to fade. There's just no two ways about it. That's just what happens. So if you're living in the southern states who get sun more than we do here in the northern states, then yes, that is going to be definitely an issue. It will fade quicker. So there you go. Good morning to everybody in the comment section. So let's just hop right to it, shall we? Make sure my camera flips over this morning. Hopefully there'll be no technical difficulties. That's what we're going for. We're going for the no technical difficulties kind of a morning, because that's just the way it is. And look, it worked. Yay, Mom. So we are going to be pressing these today. These are the 2 pumpkins from our REM distributors. I was asked if I would do some of my hand-drawn pumpkins. So last night, Jody and I were up crafting together. Have you ever just crafted with a friend? And I love the fact that Zoom or Skype allows us to sit and craft with our friends. So that makes life just a little bit more fun when it's a late night hour and one lives on the West Coast and one lives on the East Coast. And for those who don't know, I'm on the East Coast. Jody's on the West Coast. So when she's live here with me on the Sass in the morning, she's up at 7 o'clock in the morning for you guys. So that's why I always say, make sure you say good morning to her, because she rolls her tuchus out of bed very early for all of us. So there we go. So we're going to do the, we're going to just go right out of the gate with the MDF. And the only reason why I'm going to do that is because the heat press is up on the highest heat that it needs to be on for our projects. And then I have to lower the temperature. So let's just get right to it with the MDF. I really wanted to see how these came out. And luckily for me, I had some testers to be able to do so. You do want to take off the sticky film off of here. So we're just going to make sure Nikki knows what she's still doing at the end of the day. And we're going to line this up. For those who didn't see, I got a laser. And so I've been creating new things with my laser. One of the things that my laser team loves, that because I do have a laser, I can print my own. Pretty much I can print my own. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure this is all lined up right. Okay. I can print my own blanks for the different ones that the ladies are going to sell. So they liked that idea. And then it's easier and cheaper because you know what? They aren't having to pay for the shipping. So that's fun. And of course, I get the templates. So there's that too. Learning new things can be pretty scary when you're learning something new, whether it's sublimation, a laser, maybe it's embroidery. It can be kind of nerve-wracking when you're first starting out with something. While you may know the things, which is fantastic, the problem is it's new. You got to learn a new software. You got to learn, time, temp, pressure kind of thing. Or in my case with the laser, you have to learn speed and power. So that's also a thing. And it can be kind of scary when you're doing these kind of things. Now, for MDF, I do use firm pressure. It is at $3.95 for 60 seconds is what I'm doing this at. I do have protective butcher paper down because we like to protect our investment. Ooh, hold on. I'm trying to see if I can hook up my third camera so that my third camera will be facing the heat press. There's the goals for the day, is to try to get that heat press, that other camera up. So now we'll have 3 camera angles. There we go. New settings. So yes, it is a new setting because it's a new press. That's a great thing. So Jess just said, Nikki, how come not 385 for 60? Well, because my other press, the time fluctuated and that was just a starting point. Just like we do with everything else, it's a starting point. And I found that 395 was working better on my newer press, which is great. So that's where the 385/65 or 385/60 comes into play, is because, well, it was an older press, which is fine. That's just a launching point. So for me, I just happen to be at 395 for 60 for this particular substrate. Again, every press is different, no matter how you shake it and bake it, but that's why. It's a great question. Why the new settings? Great question by Miss Jessica. Yes, this is no, actually, this is not Lucky Bird. This is EG Pro. This is an EG Pro raglan. This raglan, it is a purple maroon color. And it is an EG Pro. Can you sub on this? That's the question. Yes, you absolutely can. These are their sublimation style ones. It is like 95% polyester, uber comfortable. Love these raglans. They also have a white body and the gray body. I always love when people ask me about what shirt I'm wearing in the comments. These are fantastic to sub on. The color is insane and they're comfortable. And as you can see, well, I've lost weight, so that's not a good judge right now, but they are very much true to size. So this is a 2X. So yes, the baggy look on me is because it is a 2X and I'm now an extra large. So it is very baggy. They are long to cover the tush and for the 3/4 sleeve. So now you know. What did I do? Oh, there was something on. Oh, I forgot to. I missed a piece of the plastic. Oh, bummer. Okay. So I missed it. It now looks like a highlight, but I missed a piece of the plastic and I didn't realize it, but she's still uber cute. I now have a highlight on my pumpkin. Okay. And that one did not have enough pressure. So let's talk about that. That's a great conversation. So a couple things happened here, and this is something that you should probably know about, right? Because I have a lot of people who watch me that are new. So a couple things, make sure you get off all the plastic off of here. I have missed a little tiny piece and didn't realize it. Otherwise, it pressed beautifully. It is an absolute gorgeous pumpkin. It's definitely one of those doodle type things that's on here. Let me move my camera over a little bit. So that's what happened here. Let's talk about this one. It is not supposed to have this mottled look. Now, here's some things you can do to combat this. One, when you're looking at your substrates, when you pull them off, sometimes you can take a peek under the hood, if you will, to see how well it pressed. This did not have enough pressure. It had enough time, but it didn't have enough pressure. So, because I had loosened up the pressure, you want to make sure you use firm pressure. And that's what this is caused by, is that's what that modeling is. You're not supposed to have that. That's absolutely a pressure issue on here, but that's okay. Not a problem. It's a great learning experience for all of you. So then we're going to just put it inside here. I went with an all black base on these, but that's what they would look like. I'll show them to you in the camera when they're put together. Let me flip it over to the big camera. Okay. So this is what it's going to look like when they are paired together. Now you can really see how I plastic on it, the film, and then this is the model. Let me get up really close. There you go. Still really pretty with color. And then the smaller guy will be in the teal. So that's what this is, the pairing for this little beautiful set. So there you go. That will be in my shop later today. Sometimes I just want to press things just to see how they press. Make sure that all the things line up the way I want it. A fun story is when I'm creating something, I will put something in and out of the safe area and in and out of the bleed space. And why do I do that? Well, because when I go to push an image into the safe space, it's how it's actually going to press. So I want all the curves to be in the right spot. So when you're laying this down, it's going to look the way I envision it. And that's where all the curves and all the lines, all the shadowing are hitting in the spots that need to be where they need to be, right? So last night while I was crafting with Jody, I was like, oh, that's not lining up right. And I said, I'm just very anal about it. I want it to be perfect. I want you guys to have it so that it doesn't look wonky. Even if you slide it right or left, I really pay attention to those minor details because I really want you to have a perfect product. Well, as perfect as we can possibly make it, right? So I will play around with a design for at least 20 minutes until I get it right. And then I'll back away from it. I'll look at it, and then I'll go back at it and look at it. And many times Jody has sat up a long time crafting with me, and she just knows that's how I operate. And that's also how she learned as a graphics designer, to pull back, look at the image, and then go back into it. So if you're trying to do the whole design thing, take your bleed area and take all the stuff that you put in your bleed area, and I call it shoving it in, put it in or power clip it into your safe space, so your safe image, and that's how it's going to look. You want to make sure, but don't leave it in there, because when you go to press it, you're not going to have a bleed. But when you do that, you can see where lines go, and maybe that might be a nice live so you can understand what I'm talking about, and then it all come together. Now let's get to this Sublidecal. Okay, so for the Sublidecal this morning, I printed off some extra just in case I muck this up. Now, here's some things you should know about Sublidecal. You don't use butcher paper. Yep, I said it. You don't use butcher paper. Why? It's because when this gets heated up, the glue can ooze out and stick to the paper. So you use a Teflon sheet. This is one of those few times I'm going to tell you to use a Teflon sheet. Now, it'll tell you to put this on the heat press. Why does it tell you that? Well, one, you're going to put it under your heat press. You're not going to have any pressure. You're basically just warming it up, flattening it out. Okay, so you want this just hovering over your sticker, because sometimes they get bent. And so that's what I'm going to do right now, is for about 20 seconds. And what does it do? It shrinks up your Sublidecal. Oh, that wasn't supposed to hit. Hold on. It was up too high. What it does is it shrinks up your Sublidecal. Okay, you want it to shrink your Sublidecal. And this is all in the video from Johnson Plastics that they tell you to do this, so that it shrinks up the decal. So when you're putting your design down, especially if you've already done like a print and cut kind of feature. So what they suggest is that you shrink the Sublidecal first. So that's what we're doing right now. And then you can do the print and cut feature. So you can sub on it and then run it through your Cricut or your Silhouette, whatever it may be. So we've warmed it up just a little so that it shrinks down a little. Now, Don't worry if it's still a little bent here. Not a big deal. It'll definitely do its thing. We're going to take our image the way we do everything else in sublimation. I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to press. You're still going to do face up, face down, you know, the whole thing. So your substrate face up, stick your thing face down. Now this has a long duration when it comes to how long it's going to press. We are going to knock down this press right now to 345 according to the manufacturer's instructions. We're going to up the time. Yes, I said up the time to 3 minutes. So right now, that's 2 minutes. And there's, all right. So 3 minutes or it says 3 to 3.5 minutes is what you're supposed to be doing it at. I'm going to finish taping this down while this, and then it says medium pressure. Now, if you have an old, depending on the packaging you have, it could say 400 for, I think it was like 40 seconds, might have been the time. But according to the new instructions on their website, they are doing it at 345 for 345 to 355 medium pressure. So we've upped the pressure, but lowered the temp, right? We're not using any butcher paper, which is totally completely contradictory to what we do, but we are going to use a Teflon sheet, top and bottom. The reason being is because the glue can ooze out and you don't want it to stick to anything. So what I do is I buy these Teflon sheets. This way I can pull it off. I can wash it after it's laying on the bottom of my press. I'm going to then put this in and fold over. But first I need to get my thing set here. So I want to lower my platen. Okay, that'll be good. So now that's where it needs to be. We've got it at a medium pressure. I'm still letting it cool down because the heat is and the time. So if you up the time, you can lower the heat, is what the theory is, depending on what it is you're pressing. Yes, lower temp, longer time. Absolutely. Good morning, good morning. So again, what can you do with these? You can go through and you can just hand cut these out if you want. You can also print these and then run them through your Silhouette or Cricut so that it's contour cut out. Again, whatever your preference is. What can we put them on? We'll talk about that in a few seconds. Let me just get these on the press. Now that they're on the press, and again, I will take a peek under the hood to make sure that they're pressed because it means my pressure may be off and I may run it a little bit longer. We'll see. So let's talk about the things that you can put this on. Just about anything. I would not put it on clothing, even though in their video on Johnson Plastics, it does say, oh, you could put it on fabric. Yes, it works just like every sticker you put on fabric. It's going to leave a residue. You don't want to really put it on fabric, but you could put it on your drinkware. You could put it on your car. You could put it on any type of surface other than I would not suggest, me personally would not suggest putting it on fabric because of that sticky glue residue. Now, as for the washing instructions on this, well, most times we say, oh, it could be dishwasher safe. Yeah, honestly, they will tell you hand wash these only. So you can put these on those inexpensive mason jars that you purchased from wherever. You could put the stickers on. Now, here's the thing. We are going to put it on a mug in a second, but it does come in white and it does come in clear. Keep in mind when you do print on clear, sublimation does not have white ink. So your image is going to be transparent, right? Or translucent. That's the word, translucent. I want you to think of like stained glass, if you will. The white is exactly that. The white is going to add any of the white type of coloring for you. And then this way it's going to be a solid sticker, meaning you can't see through it, right? So there you go. Is it a permanent? Yes, these are a permanent sticker. Once they've adhered after 72 hours, you let it sit and do its thing. Now, if you are shipping, and let's just say for an example, I made my Sublidecal, I shipped it, or I made it yesterday, right? Let's say today was a shipping day and I mailed it out today. By the time it gets to your client, it would have been 72 hours. So you don't have to necessarily hold it in hostage, waiting for that 72 hours to be considered permanently adhered, right? So just think of your transit times. If you are shipping these, that's going to help with that, especially when you want to rush things out the door. Again, you can contour cut these. You can actually contour cut them prior to, but here's my suggestion. Get a light box, shine it up, line it up, and then this way you can make sure it all lines up. Or again, you could do the print and then cut option over on your silhouette or Cricut, whatever it is you may use. Right, this is considered not removable. That's a great reminder from Miss Jessica. I've used it on non-sub tumblers and a pinch. Yes, absolutely. And these are not a removable. Once they're on, they're on. And also with your print, with your care instructions, put on there like do not use a scrubby, hand wash only, because it is a sticker. I use that for my roll-in too, because any harsh abrasives are going to basically muck it up. So we don't want that to happen either because it can rub off the ink. I'm going to take a peek under the hood. I want to see what these look like. And it printed perfect. So what I want to do, so when I peeled this off, there's like a sticky type, like backing to this. Okay. So for some reason, it just, that's why you want to use the Teflon, or otherwise it's going to stick to the paper. Not that it really matters, but you don't want paper sticking because this is the backing of it, right? So we don't want the backing to get stuck. So right now, I'm just going to let it cool and let it cool as flat as it can. And it doesn't need to be anything like super cold. It's going to curl. That's just the nature of the beast. She's pretty. Now, please understand, you will get press marks, okay? And what I mean by that is you're going to get press marks from the tape. So keep that in mind when you're doing this, that you're going to get a press mark on there. And that press marks can also mean that your pressure's too heavy. But look at those. Like the color is unreal. So now we're going to take this, we're going to hand cut this one out. Before somebody asks, can you layer? Yeah, sure, you can layer it. Absolutely. If you want to. I don't know why you would want to, but yes, you absolutely could. Are these on the more pricier option? They are. You're going to be able to find stickers cheaper through places like myself and or Marvin. But let me tell you, in a pinch, these are a lifesaver. Okay. Now I'm just going to hand cut this one out. Now this one I might just want to, I would have probably contour cut this one if I had thought about it. But here's the thing. I'm not really skillful at using my silhouette just yet when it comes to the print and cut. I haven't quite figured and mastered that out yet. But then again, I haven't needed to because I have Big Mama. So I haven't had to know really that. We kind of learn what we need to know when we need to know it. We're those kind of people. We're just gonna, in my best kindergarten look here. Right? Isn't it adorable? All right, let's get this. Okay. So first things first, whatever your drinkware is, you want to get yourself a wipey. And the reason why I say that is because you want to take off any residue that may or may not be on your drinkware. You never know. Okay, so we want to clear it off. So I just get a wipey. Now, you can wet this and do the wet sticker method to where you wet this down and then you can add your sticker. And you're like, Nikki, what's the wet sticker method? So what you want to do is you can use water. I'm just going to use my wipe for now. This is wet. Why is that important? Because it means you can smooth it around and then get it to where it needs to be. Okay. Now, you can pull these off if you need to. Please understand this is a thicker sticker. But if you end up with some sort of an air bubble, and honestly, that's it. We're going to do the backside. So if I had done more of the water method, I could slide this around and get it exactly where I wanted it to, and then just squeegee it out. So I will put mine, run my center. And then you can take it. Make sure it's all adhered. Now you're like, oh, crap. I put it in the wrong spot. There we go. And now it's on again. Really, it's that easy. I mean, look at the colors. They're absolutely amazing. It is a sublimation. It is something that's easy. But again, when you look at the cost effectiveness of it, that is going to be what you decide you're going to do. Is it something that I would use to sell stickers for mass production? No, not really. But it is great for putting it on plasticware or glasses, or maybe you want to do wine bottles, right? And you want to replace the labels to a wine bottle. You can use this if you wanted to. Really look at the cost of the product. I think you get like 10 sheets to the pack. But look at the cost of the price of the product. This is great for the onesies, twosies. This isn't one of those cost-effective things that I would use for mass production of things. But it definitely is the way to go for it. Yep, great for one-offs. Let me get into the different camera. So here is what it looks like. Get a nice close-up picture. The color and clarity are absolutely beautiful. I'm in love with this digital paper, by the way. I created this digital paper and I'm absolutely in love with my digital paper. So there you go. Gorgeous, right? So now you could put a onesie, twosies, one-offs on these. You could put them on the bottom of your drinkware. You really can put it on just about anything. Just know that after 72 hours, it's considered permanent and you can't remove it. I definitely would make sure that you do a hand wash only and do not use any scrubbies is what I would not use, like your scrub daddy on this, because it can muck up your sticker, and you don't want to do that. Again, these are not UV stable. So this is not one of those things you want to put on the back of your car, because our sublimation ink is not UV safe or stable, I should say. Even though you see license plates and license plate frames, that's great and all, but they're really just novelty items. The sun will beat up those things. Even if it says it is UV coated, that's fantastic. That means that product is UV coated, but that doesn't mean your sublimation inks are. So again, things can fade when the sun is beating on it, and the same holds true for the stickers. So keep that in mind. Now, they do suggest over in the Johnson Plastics video is that you can laminate them to give a little bit more longevity. You absolutely can laminate these. Now, as for the longevity of it with the UV, I'm really not 100% sure. Can you coat? Can you then do a poly coat of some sort? Probably, if you get like a UV coated spray, maybe, absolutely. But again, nothing I've ever tried. So it's not something I can say that yes, this is a good idea, or no, it isn't a good idea. You really just have to try it out yourself. There we go. Let me just go to the top. Now, you guys saw that I had made, where did I put them? Yep. I've lost my brain. Where did I stick them? Where did I put the pumpkins? All right, somebody needs to direct me. Where did I stick these pumpkins that I made? Oh, there they are. I know y'all watched me put them down somewhere. All right, let's go talk again about what we did at the top here. So this is where I call the rewind or the recap. So here's everything that we talked about in this Sass, which is probably a very quick Sass, if you will. We talked about the pumpkins from RREM Distributors, these guys right here. We talked about how you want to make sure that you take off all the plastic and make sure it's all off, or you're going to end up with a sunspot, just like that is right there, which is fantastic and all, but it's not what I wanted in the design. Overall, 10 out of 10 recommend on the design. This will be listed. These designs will be listed in my shop so that you'll be able to get this, and it comes with this guy right here. Let's talk about him. No, that isn't an effect that I tried to do. That was called uneven pressure. So because my pressure was slightly off on this guy ended up having a mottled look to it. You're not supposed to have a mottled look. It should honestly look like this guy right here. But I'm kind of glad that I had this happy mistake, because it gave me an opportunity to tell you what this is. So this is one of those modeling looks where not enough pressure. So if you get that on a substrate and your image is not like that, then yes, this means you have uneven pressure and you want to try to combat it. How do you combat it? You take a peek under the hood before you even move it off the press. You can take a peek. I always leave one corner. So I may do like 3 corners and leave one corner not taped, so I could peek under the hood and see how it's looking, especially on those big pieces of MDF. I want to make sure that the middle is definitely getting pressed. And always keep in mind, anything over 6 to 8 inches, you want to pre-press. These little guys, I didn't have to pre-press, but I didn't have enough pressure. That was a me thing. Now, when you peek under the hood, you could see if it's mottled or not. And then if it is, because you didn't move anything, you can drop your press down, and then you can add a little bit more pressure to it as well. And that sometimes, for the most part, will clear everything up. It doesn't necessarily shift. It doesn't give you off-gassing or off-shadowing and all of that stuff. So keep that in mind, because you didn't move it. You just peeked under the hood. Now, you can do that with a lot of your stuff before you take it off, because, again, you want to make sure that it pressed correctly, and sometimes we can save a project. We also talked about the Sublidecal. The Sublidecal is from Johnson Plastics. I'm not sure if Condi sells it. They may, but I had always gotten mine from Johnson Plastics. So today is jppplus.com. This is hand washed. So yes, you could put it on your drinkware. They're great stickers that end up permanent. They are not UV stable. Keep that in mind if you're doing them for car decals, and make sure you tell people know that they are a permanent decal, right? So you want to make sure they're that. I don't recommend them putting them on fabric, because again, it'll leave a residue. If for some day they peel it off and whatnot, you know how that is with stickers on clothing, just not fun. But you could definitely put it on like these plastic cups that you can get that we can't sub on. It does come in a clear and a white. This one's the white one, but you can use your print and cut feature, whatever it is you want to do. Completely up to you, boo-boo. I don't care. But here you go. That's what it looks like with the color. They're absolutely gorgeous. And they're perfect for those onesie twosies. Not something that I would be using for mass production due to the cost of the product. But again, you can find it at johnsonplastics.com. Well, I think that's it for now. This is everything that I could come up with since our Sass on Wednesday. You guys wanted to know about the Sublidecal, and I wanted to press something other than the Sublidecal. So that's where these little guys came into play. Get these. They're great for shelf sitters, tier trays, whatever it may be at RREM distributors. That's it for the day. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday, and I will see you here next Sunday for what? I don't know. I'll let you know when I get in trouble with it. Until then, have a great Sunday, everyone. Bye.